What's up, girl? Hello.
I wasn't ready. Can we start
You
over?
had
Because
such
I
a-
wasn't ready for Neeli to say that.
It's the intense face while we're waiting. It's like,
Neeli, we're trying
ready
to
for
surprise
this.
the audience,
Yeah.
but we need to be on the same page.
there's
I
no
need to know
rehearsal
where
for
you're
this one.
going
You
with
don't
this.
need to rehearse for that. Look, hello. Welcome to the Vergecast for a week. I believe it is the week of July 15th. A lot of surprises in store today, not least of which is that this coaster, which I believed was made of wood, actually is ceramic. Who knew?
You know how I've been in the game too long? I thought this was a pad of makeup.
I've been in the game for too long.
Yeah, you know.
You've been back in the
What
game
game
like
is that?
literally for
the
like
game of being a talented on-camera
Your
personality.
talent now. Is
Yeah.
that
so did you try
That's
to
what
rub
you're
your
saying.
face with it to get like?
Yeah, and it didn't do anything. It didn't solve this blemish, didn't solve this blemish.
I
It
will
might
say that
cut
rubbing
it
your
out a little
face with
bit.
a ceramic disc will cause more problems than it solves.
Maybe that's my problem.
Ooh, is this makeup? Oh God, it's so abrasive. Oh, it's terrible. Let me just tell you. Let me give you an example of what we deal with here at The Verge. This is an email I just got.
Are you okay? You're doing this.
Well, I won't name names, and we're changing. We're changing. We understand the concern, and we're taking it in.
Okay.
But we wrote a post today about sugar being used as payment for weapons. This is true. We wrote a post about this thing. But
Right.
North Korea paying Cuba for weapons with sugar. And we used a photo of, they paid in sacks of sugar. We used a photo of sacks of sugar, and the sugar company was very mad at us that we were defaming them by implying that,
I don't know. I feel like that's a legitimate.
you know, we were changing the image. But it's just one of those things that you never, it's one of those emails you never expect to receive.
Yeah. Right.
Like an angry
Yeah.
sugar company executives.
What if Korea paid Cuba in angry editorials?
Yeah.
And they used your editorials.
Pretty much.
You'd be when the Times covered
Actually,
the story, they used a photo of your
I would
editorials.
be flattered,
Really?
knowing
Yeah.
that my
You have the purest
rage-filled
essence.
editorials are now
Premium
They're
grade.
now being used as
premium
currency
grade
somewhere in the
range for-
world.
You should introduce yourself so then I can say
Oh
my
yeah.
name.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Hi, I'm Neil Patel.
I'm Paul Miller.
I'm Ross Miller.
You might notice that Josh is not here. Josh has been murdered, and we're looking for the killer.
Who's hiding in a bag of sugar?
No, Josh, he's off doing stuff. He's good.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah. Look, he's a company man now. He's got.
Company things.
Josh is at the stock market right now, buying and selling commodities, most likely sugar, but not this
Could
company's
you
brand of
imagine
sugar.
Josh at the stock market, like in a crowd of people just screaming "buy, buy, buy, sell, sell, sell"?
Oh yes, almost yes.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure
It's a
that's actually
really- it's a
if
really
you get
good
Josh
image.
within 50 feet of the stock market, that's what he starts doing instinctively. It's like a range detector. Like, are you near the stock market right
That's
now?
why he doesn't
Here's
like-
an easy way to check: is Josh yelling "buy, buy, buy"?
He
sell,
doesn't
sell,
like
sell.
to take the train because he might accidentally end up on a line that's it's too close to the.
He starts screaming on the train.
It's a hazard.
Okay, this is, by the way, this is the Vergecast.
This is.
Which, my God, I hope you knew that before this began. In which we talk about pretty much anything we want, but occasionally also talk about tech news, culture news, the culture of technology news, which is broken, quite frankly. In other, I don't know,
You're doing great.
socioeconomic issues.
Keep going. You're doing this.
broken?
You got this.
Our culture is broken.
Culture is broken.
Our culture of
Our double
technology
culture.
news is broken.
Yes,
Or-
but
okay.
the news of technology culture, that's working fine.
So let's start with broken technology culture. This would be the AT&T Next and the Verizon Edge phone upgrade plans. Mm-hmm. Do you want to get to the facts, or do you want to start screaming?
I just want to start growling.
Can I get
Continue.
Can I get to a fact real quick?
Do the facts, man.
All right, the facts real quick.
No. I want to do a fact.
Do a fact.
I got a T-Mobile phone.
Dude, I got one right here, bro. What up?
Right here.
I said this on the mobile show a couple days ago. I'm now paying each of the major carriers, so I feel completely justified.
Yeah.
Really?
in just ragging on all of them.
All
Yeah.
four of them.
Not all four. I mostly pity Sprint. So if you see me write a pity-filled editorial about
Right.
Sprint, you know where that's coming from the heart. Do the facts of these. I don't want to talk about the whatever. Just tell me what's happening with these products.
Okay, well, first and foremost, this is all coincidentally happens just after T-Mobile announced that you can upgrade your phone every 6 months.
Yeah.
If you give the phone back, you pay this like $10 a month subsidy or whatever you want
Mm-hmm.
to call it. AT&T and Verizon have come back doing something very similar, although the details of which have you more or less paying for the phone twice, giving the phone back, and by and large getting screwed out of your money just to get a chance to buy a phone again and again and again and again.
Right. So look. So T-Mobile announced Jump, which was. So the big thing T-Mobile did was
Yes.
they said we're going to lower the price of our plans, and we are not going to give you a device. If you want a device, you can participate in some other program to purchase a device. So you
Yes.
can buy the whole thing out front, or you can pay monthly installments.
This is
and then
this is prior to announcing.
this
Jump.
is prior to
Right.
announcing Jump. And
This-
then
this is like
Jump
2 phases
is
for T-Mobile.
if you want to get ahead of the cycle, you can pay $10 a month for insurance, and in addition to the insurance, you get to switch a phone every 6 months.
Right, but your data plan for your monthly plan, you're still paying the subsidizing. That's
No,
still
that's
baked
not
in.
on T-Mobile.
Oh no, you're right. T-Mobile. No,
So
in
in T-Mobile,
AT&T.
it's like you're paying. It's a lot of different monthly installments, but you know what each of them is going
Right.
towards.
Right. T-Mobile says this is what your phone plan is, and this is what your installment plan to pay this
Yeah.
for this phone that
Right.
you actually own now.
Right. So
Right.
T-Mobile is like, here's your service, here's the phone. If you want to accelerate how fast you're getting a phone, you can pay an extra fee a month.
Right, this is what they call like phase 2 of 3. So like making
T-Mobile
more
is
transparent.
This is phase
if
2
you
of
wanted
being
to go
insane.
crazy with T-Mobile, you could just pay off the phone because you are paying
Yep.
it as if it was like a credit card. You could pay
Okay.
it off and get another phone.
So in response,
And your gold.
AT&T, yes, exactly. In response, AT&T and Verizon did a thing, which is, I believe, like one of the biggest ripoffs, maybe in history, in terms of like wireless carrier pricing.
The great mobile swindle.
It's a great mobile swindle. And what they're so right now, just start with me here, because this is actually contentious, and
Tell us.
readers
Tell us,
keep
Neil, tell
readers
us.
keep arguing with me about this.
I'm just gonna start doing the
So
math
right now, if you buy, you can go to Verizon or AT&T,
Okay.
and you can buy a Galaxy S4 for $199. Then you can like sign up for a 2-year wireless service deal, and at the end of 2 years,
You must sign up for a
You-
2-year
you
contract
don't-
to
Yes.
get a $200 phone.
yes, you have
Right.
whatever. But at the end of 2 years, you've paid, let's call it $70 or $80 a month for service from one of the big two, and you have a phone. You've paid no other prices, right? You've paid $200 at the top. You've paid $80 for 2 years. You're done. Now you have a phone. You've gotten the service. Somewhere in there, Verizon has paid off the phone, right?
Right.
And we know how much Verizon values the phone because you can buy it up front without a contract for $680.
here's the loaded question: do we
So-
know how much of that phone is actually in the monthly payment?
So the we don't, but it's obvious to the work. Like you can just look at the numbers, right?
Right.
It's somewhere Verizon is collecting $600 from you, $680 from you, right? You pay $200 up front, and you pay for all the service, and you get to keep the phone. That means they've allocated some amount of money towards the purchase of the phone, and that's why you get to keep it after 2 years.
Exactly.
Right. So so the best get. I mean, just doing the math: $200 minus $480 divided. Right. That's how much the difference is. 480 divided by 24 is $20 a month.
I really wish we brought a whiteboard in today.
I should have done like a
Oh,
Glenn
man.
Beck style. I couldn't
Oh,
do
this
it, man.
would
I'm
be so good.
I'm
This would
pissed.
go
Let me just tell you,
so good.
I'm so mad about this. Like, but
Okay.
that is obvious. And like,
Right.
before I wrote the AT&T piece that's calling Next to rip off, I called AT&T and yelled at them. Before I wrote the Verizon piece today, I like straight up was like, there is a subsidy. Like, if you look at their SEC filings, both companies admit that somewhere in their prices exists a subsidy to pay off the phone.
right.
Right? That this is like not controvertible.
And AT&T recently switched it from you could upgrade it at like 18 months.
And now it's 24 months.
And now it's 24
So then on top of this, but that's like everybody understands this, right? You buy the phone for $200. After 2 years, you get the phone. You're paying the money in your plan pricing somewhere.
By my math, you're about a third of what you're paying is for the phone, depending
Yeah,
on what
they
plan.
they
you have.
won't tell. I mean, I've asked them over and over again. Just tell me the percentage. Then I can do the math for real. We can make the, and they won't do it because they know that makes them look more evil than ever, right? When they don't give me the number, I have to guess the number, and then the argument can be, but you're just guessing the number. They gave me the number. It'd be like, you're not guessing the number. Oh, and BT Dubs, they're evil. Right. So they won't give me the number because they want to attack me at you're just guessing the number, which is cool. Good tactics. I applaud your courage in battle, but I will win this war. Okay.
I like
so
I see you're gonna win this war when like their customer bases just keep
they're
going up and
growing,
up.
but
Your metrics
I'm
a
just
lot
gonna
different.
I'm just gonna keep
Well,
yelling.
I want to address that, but I want Neil to break down some
Okay.
more rage
Yes.
math.
So then if you add Next or Edge to this, what they're doing is they're saying you're going to buy the device. You're going to pay us $680 for the device or $650 or whatever the number is. And we're going to break it into these monthly payments. So so the simplest way to think about it is that 2-year contract again. So if you are on Verizon, you sign up for Edge, you 24 monthly payments for that Galaxy S4. After you've paid 50% of the phone, you can get a new one. But if you just wait it out, just think about this math. Under the normal one, you pay $200 up front, you pay 2 years of service, no additional fees. At the end of it, you get a phone.
Yes.
With Edge, after 24 months, you've paid $680 for the phone, and you've been paying the service fees that would have gotten you the rest of the way there.
and you get a.
And you end up with a phone, but you've
do,
now
do you get? Do you pay $200 for a new phone, or do you just get a phone?
you just get a phone.
Okay, well, so that's $200 off
No, it's not.
the new phone.
It's too. Look. Think about it this way. Under the standard plan, you
Okay.
pay $200 up
No,
front.
I know not in the grand scheme of things, but I'm saying like at the end of a normal contract, you have to typically pay.
No. At the end of a normal
The
contract, you
subsidized-
just get the phone.
You get to keep, yeah, right. You get to keep.
It's
phone.
your phone.
Right.
Right. Because
Right. I'm saying at the end of a Next or an Edge thing,
you get to keep the phone.
you get to keep your phone, but do you pay $200 to get a new phone?
Yes. No. You just start over.
So you're not paying the down payment at all.
You don't pay the down payment. You're just spreading out the number.
Right.
Right. So they're saying you can pay $680. Like now, we can break it into chunks, but the service plan fee is always the same. Now, if you just compare that to the regular way, which is some amount up front and the service plan, at the end of it, like they're just making a huge profit off
Sure,
of you.
but because they- but
Because
they're-
the money that they used to take from your plan to put against the price of the phone now is just profit.
Right.
Because at some point, it's like about month 18 for Edge and about month 12 for Next. Literally, whatever subsidy they've been calculating towards the phone in your plan is now pure profit because you're paying off the phone. Like you've gone over the amount that they would have paid.
And the other thing to make clear too is like they're saying if you pay off half the phone, at least for Verizon, if you pay off 50% of the phone's device, you can trade it in, get the new one early.
Right.
But none of that subsidized payment that you're paying the $80 a month, that doesn't count toward it at all because we can't tell you how much.
Look,
you're paying
here's
for
my
that
rule, and I put this at the end of the Verizon piece today. If to figure out what AT&T and Verizon are doing, you need an accountant instead of an engineer, you're getting screwed. That's it. That's like they're good at this. They're incredibly good at this. And they have this probably like 100% tricking people into paying
in-
more
in
money
a way-
because people want new phones faster and they can play this like 3-card Monty to get that out of them.
The big thing I think about this is and that's what I was asking earlier. This is about getting people to upgrade more often.
It's about harnessing that desire
Well, yes.
to increase your ARPU.
Yes, it is. But I'm saying like the reason this they'll probably make a lot of money off of this.
Right, you will if you like pay
because-
attention, yeah.
Yeah, because people want to upgrade their phones more often, and right now the carriers, the way they've set this up, like I don't have this problem because I've got T-Mobile and I got an iPhone 5, but like
Yeah,
I
but you
own
know what you
that
don't
phone.
have? You don't have service across like a
Sure,
wide
okay, but
swath
what
of the
I'm
country.
What I'm saying, because I've set this up as an installment plan where I
Yeah.
own this phone. At the end of when the iPhone 5S comes out, I can pay this phone off, sell it, and use that money towards
Yeah.
the iPhone 5S. So I have kind of taken the power over being able to upgrade more
No, that's
regularly.
great.
Right,
But currently AT&T and Verizon have this set up where they only get people to buy new phones every 2
Look,
years.
here's the simplest way of
this is like
understanding
an
this.
exciting.
If you buy your
thing
own,
for them.
if you buy your own phone and bring it to a regular plan at AT&T, you're being cheated.
Sure.
You're straight up being cheated because everybody understands that AT&T's plans are priced to allow you to buy a subsidized
Wait,
phone and then pay.
everyone understands.
Well, our listeners.
Okay.
I'm confident that people who listen to and watch the Vergecast understand that, right? You pay $680 for an unlocked iPhone and go to AT&T. You're paying some premium to subsidize somebody else's $200 iPhone.
Right.
Right? The big trick here is that AT&T is getting you to pay that $680 without the benefit of owning the phone yourself. Because when you trade it in at 12 months, you're literally getting
They're
it back to
They're
them.
trying to create more of you. They're
Right.
trying to create more suckers like you and Josh who do buy unlocked phones and bring them to
Right,
AT&T
but I
and
know,
Verizon.
but so that's the thing. That's why I'm reacting
At least
so
you know you're
strongly to
getting
this.
suckered,
Like,
but
I'm
you-
well aware that I'm being cheated. Like,
Right.
100% aware, and I don't like it because I don't want to pay that premium for a subsidized phone I never buy. Now, harnessing, like, people want to buy. Here's what you should do, AT&T. You should stop selling phones. You should stop charging people a premium. You should allow anybody to bring whatever phone they want to your service and let the phone makers compete to bring down the price of phones.
But-
Just like laptop makers competed to bring down the price of laptops, tablet makers have competed to bring down the price of tablets, and every other market in the world competes to bring down prices for consumers
Right,
while
but-
raising the value of the products.
But not to call you a hippie, but here's what you're saying. AT&T,
That is
please
the most
make less
capitalist
money.
thing I could say.
Please make less money with what you're doing.
Dude.
This is a way for them to make more money. No one's going to realize that they want this plan and they're grandfathered in. This is a test of how committed you are to your terrible relationship.
But
with the
you don't have a
carrier.
choice. What are you going to do? You're
Right.
going to take this phone that you spent $600 on, go, oh, shit, you can't.
Right.
Right, you are literally locked into one of these two. They know that they have the biggest and best networks. You can argue about which one of them is bigger or better, and they
They
do
do
that constantly.
nonstop.
I'll tell you Verizon is bigger and better, but I don't use them because their devices are more locked technologically than any other device, and I will not pay for that, except for my iPad, which I pay for because I feel like I'm obligated to pay for all these services, and I'm going to criticize them as heavily as I do. So you're welcome, Verizon, for my $30 a month. Please just die.
Wow.
I'm very angry.
Obviously.
Go buy an unlocked phone and bring it to them because they're winning.
Yeah, and Verizon today
you do
reported
that.
earnings. They added like 1 million subscribers.
Right.
There was a lot of noise about whether or not the iPhone was going to sell well, and like they actually sold more iPhones than they anticipated.
3.9 million.
3.9 said 3.5. So the iPhone's doing fine. Everybody
Yeah.
loves iPhones.
Good for iPhone.
They got Where's the Water on them for free right now, which is a great game. Very
Where's
addicted
the
to it.
Water?
Very addicting.
Where's my water?
Where's my water?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's really
funny because
good.
Brooke Lopez, who's the center on the Nets, once told me about it, and I was like, I'm not playing that game, and now it's free, and now I'm completely addicted.
That is the biggest name drop I think I've ever heard you do.
No, that literally
really
happened.
interesting.
Like it was like a video I did with him when we did the Barclays
Brooke
Center.
Lopez told me to get this app, but I'm poor because
But
I'm
I
not a
refused to
basketball
pay
player,
$3
so I
for it.
didn't pay for it.
Until it was free on the App Store. This is true. It happened. It's the Barclays Center video.
Congratulations
No, I
to
know.
Apple.
I was like,
know
what's
it's
your-
true.
years
I was
You
like,
hanging out with
yeah,
the
I was
Brooklyn
like,
Nets.
I was like,
and
what's
you're
your? I was like, what's your
up?
favorite
What you
app?
doing?
And he's like, when I use my Galaxy S4, like it was a very like, he's like, I love Where's My Water, and I was like, that's dumb. I'm not participating in your endorsement lifestyle.
Right.
I don't think the
There it is.
Galaxy
We
S-
have the video. Look, I'd like to point out that Brooke Lopez makes me look incredibly short and fat, so he won that battle.
But man, that hair.
I mean, are we just looking at a still of
Good
that?
look. You know,
That's
go
all
back-
we got.
Go back to the picture. Go back. To the
I mean,
Okay, fine.
no,
Well,
no more picture. Okay.
oh man,
No, but like, so I mean, Verizon's continuing to gain almost 1 million customers a quarter.
they're fine.
They're
gonna be
making a
fine.
lot of money.
They're going to make a lot of money. And the thing is, like, these networks, these devices and these services are not like luxury items. They're like necessities to be alive. As Paul will tell you.
Right. As Paul would definitely tell you.
do you think this is like T-Mobile has good ideas and these carriers are like, T-Mobile might be getting an edge on us, or like they saw the way T-Mobile was doing it, is like we could tweak that and we could make so much more money.
Yeah.
You don't
It-
think
it's
like they're
literally-
in any way threatened
What
by
I saw a
T-Mobile's
tweet
potential growth?
from Sasha Segan when AT&T rolled out Next, and it was like AT&T has some pretty good accountants. Because like it just adds, if you just do the math, it adds up.
Totally.
Like AT&T is collecting the full money for a phone that they're already charging you for. Like
great.
it is
Yeah.
priced, like it's in their SEC
They're
filing.
so smart.
They know that their plans include some
We are
subsidy.
in the wrong line of work, guys.
I gotta tell you.
I should definitely. I will be joining AT&T as the new CEO.
I'm going to join the Nets as the new center.
Ooh.
I'm just gonna stay
Watch
right
out,
here.
Brooke. Where's your water now?
Yeah.
All right, what's the next? We don't have to rage about this. Look, I don't know if T-Mobile might suck. It sucks.
I don't want to rage about this. Wait a second.
Well, I just want
yes,
to say,
I
like,
do.
T-Mobile's great, and
Okay.
I'm like living my money is where my mouth
Right,
is, right?
yeah.
I spent $600 on unlocked Google Play One, which is like the thing that I've been wanting forever.
Right.
Whatever phone I want with stock. I bought T-Mobile's plan, like no subsidy. I bought the plan exact thing that I wanted,
Right.
which was $30 a month for unlimited data and 100 minutes of
And
voice.
you have LTE coverage maybe 10%?
Sometimes 10% of the time in New
Yeah.
York City I have LTE
Well, so
coverage.
I-
and the second I go home or I go to Becky's house, nothing.
I have this luxury of like because I spend that year without the internet. Anytime I have the internet, it's like, oh, this is really cool. I have the internet, you know. And so like, and T-Mobile is that sort of service
Yeah.
where you look at your phone and it's like, oh, this is cool. I have the internet right now.
Yeah.
Because like it's anywhere between Edge or 4G or LTE within like 2 blocks.
Right.
And so I'm fine with it. I'm loving it, and I love the price. And I feel so. I've always wanted to be on T-Mobile just to be able to say
Yeah.
I'm on T-Mobile. I'm for years, and I'm so proud to be on
T-Mobile,
T-Mobile.
right.
the network to have
And-
when
but
you've left
it
the
is-
internet for a year, and now it seems like a nice
But like
thing to
knowing
have.
myself
Trademark.
before I left the internet, and like how frustrating it is when you can't get a connection
Yeah.
and you want one. It's. I mean, I have learned to be okay with not having the internet. But
What you can do,
You'll be
you'll
ready.
really
for
appreciate
T-Mobile.
T-Mobile. But
Yeah.
they are expanding their LTE towers though.
Look,
They're
T-Mobile
getting
has a lot of work to do.
Also, I will say
Jean Legier keeps
the very
keeps retweeting me.
Right.
So I'm hoping like that this flirtation will end in an interview.
The
I've
very
basically been
first-
asking him on a date for like 2 months.
Yeah.
The very
that date
first
will be
day
very
I got,
awkward.
I got T-Mobile, and they were still not quite. They were just rolling out their LTE towers. But I was at a friend's house. We were going to watch a movie on the roof, but her Wi-Fi didn't go up to
Yeah.
the roof.
You told me the story.
Oh, I did. And
Yeah.
so we tethered to my T-Mobile phone, which is on 4G. It was on an LTE.
Okay.
And it or 4G. Gosh. They got me.
Here we go
They
again.
suckered me in. And we watched a movie off of Amazon Prime at full bit rate, so 2,000 kilobits. Not a single stutter the whole time. Oh, look, I'm getting a phone call.
Here.
You're saying your T-Mobile works here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
apparently. I've got 3 bars of 4G.
Do you need to take
What do
that?
I got?
Remind me later.
He does not need to take the call. I got 4 bars of Wi-Fi. Let me turn this off. What's the
yeah.
next thing we're talking about?
The Hyperloop.
Ooh, that's fun.
Yes.
Paul?
Hyperloop.
I have 2
was
bars
so
of LTE,
stoked
by the
about.
way. on
This-
that
Okay,
one.
do you know how much time? When I heard about Hyperloop,
Well, let's explain what the Hyperloop is for everybody.
okay, Elon Musk
You do that while I run the speed test.
said that he could figure out a way to make a commuter thing between LA and San Francisco in a half an hour.
Right.
I mean,
Which
just-
it works out to about 600 miles per hour.
Mm-hmm.
It would be something that wouldn't be quite like a train because you could hop on at any time. It wouldn't be
Right.
a scheduled thing. And it pretty much and that it could be powered with like maybe solar panels along the train
Right,
or
so it's-
track
it's-
or whatever. He hasn't. He's just a big tease. It's a big tease.
Yeah.
Because he's like basically defying most of physics, and he's really
Well,
trying.
well,
He wants to be Tesla.
He's
this
not-
is his thing
wait,
where he's like, here's my thing
He
that
does
I
have
will
a
promise
company
Tesla the
named
man.
Tesla.
Here's-
Nikola Tesla.
Here's my thing where I will promise you a thing that conspiracy theorists decades from now
Can I just
will
pause?
refer back
Can
to.
I just pause for a moment?
Pause.
T-Mobile here in the studio, 2 bars of LTE. Oh, now we're down to H+. Network communications issue, crash speed test app, which, by the way, is a totally jank app on Android.
Oh, I'm on 2 bars of LTE
And
now.
Ookla should be Ookla, first of all. Come on.
Ookla?
And then totally ashamed of this app on Android because it's garbage.
Yeah, that's your problem. Is you have,
But yeah, 1.2 down on LTE when I had it, which I no longer have, and faster on H Plus now, 2.8 down, and then AT&T totally smoked it, 4 down on LTE.
Wow.
Good
And I
for
will
you.
say the Ookla speed test app on the iPhone, choice. Good
All right.
work, Ookla.
Very
So
good.
Choice
you
app.
know, like
good
everybody
conspiracy.
basically assumes that Nikola Tesla like came up with like some sort of free energy levitate, all sorts of things that the government has suppressed, right? And I feel like
Which they did,
This is
of
one of
course.
those things that Elon Musk will somehow like disappear. And we'll never see him
He's
again.
too handsome to
We'll
disappear.
Wow.
We'll never see him again.
This is
And
elaborate.
Decades from now, we'll say, "Man, he figured out a way to travel."
Here's
Look
a
at those
picture.
guns.
But
at
some
No one's gonna get through that, guy.
some lobbyist was trying to get some high-speed rail
So
thing
let me
through,
say 2
and
things.
so they suppressed
so one,
this.
that picture that you're looking at, I took. It was at D in May.
Were you drooling
And I
on your
saw.
line at
I
the
was
time?
no. I was very free. I was live logging solo, so
Right.
I was drooling, but only out of panic, because that's the worst.
is.
And he is one of the most charismatic, like obvious visionary people that I've ever heard speak.
He's awesome.
Like I mean, you believe it, right? Everything that he's done is like people are like that'll never work, and then he just does it. They're
No,
like,
we just did
Right.
a big thing about Hyperloop because there's people have been conceiving of ways to do this sort of travel, and his promises are a little bit beyond anybody's like theoretical projections. Like even like theoretically, if you could just clear out all the
Right.
land between these things and build whatever you want with all the money, could you do this? His is already on a little high on the estimates of
Well, it's-
Right.
speed and cost, but he
It's not physically impossible. It doesn't defy the laws of physics.
right.
you
It
were saying
doesn't
earlier.
totally.
Well, so
define
just
the law.
just to
basically-
stop, like
basically
it's
the summary is like I wouldn't believe this if it wasn't him saying it. Like
right,
that's
and
what
so
our
but
article
so
says.
just
That's what
the
scientists
the
are
facts
saying.
of the hyper and Russell did the piece, which you read, which
Wonderful.
is amazing. The basic challenge, right, is it's like 350 miles from LA to San Francisco.
Right.
So to do that in half an hour, the thing has to go 600 miles an hour, right? Because there's some acceleration and deceleration at the top and bottom, right?
Math.
So something like 600 miles an hour, which is twice as fast as the current fastest train. So there's the math. Like
And
you've
so-
got to do twice as
and
good as we
therefore-
can already do.
and the reason
Therefore,
for
you would
that-
have to reduce air friction. So a lot of people think it's some sort of like closed loop tube,
Right, and it's
like a
thing, so that
vacuum.
so the air is like the air from the previous car pushes the next car or something. But
Right.
people don't know.
Well, no,
Nobody
the idea
knows.
is like you get rid of the air drag by creating it in a vacuum, which is I hate
But
to-
then, but Musk is like,
So
this is
does-
amazing because like literally we have a diagram from a fan that's like set in Comic Sans, like
Yes.
in our report.
Because all
he
great
tweeted like, this is the
documents
best guess.
are made in Comic Sans.
Everything. Look, if you're a scientist, you're not using Comic Sans. You're not a real scientist.
Right. This is like I mean honestly, this is
You
like
want to make the science friendly.
this is Jetson stuff. Like this
Yeah.
is the Jetson elevator on a horizontal plane.
Sure.
Like
What? Was that in a vacuum?
Can I tell you
Why
how
not?
I want it to work?
How you want to work?
Yes.
You know Hot Wheels.
they put you in a giant gun and then
how
fire
Hot-
the gun.
You know how Hot Wheels jumps work?
Oh, yeah.
Where
Yeah.
you have a Hot Wheel track and it like shoots you out and you go up and you jump on the track, but then the landing thing is like it's wider.
yeah.
So
Right.
to adjust for any
Not
like
wide
You
enough.
are so-
any possible errors, and then the car lands on that.
Yeah.
So you have a lander that's wide, a wide
Okay.
mouth lander on each,
Wide mouth lander.
a wide mouth lander on each side. You shoot the Hot Wheel cars.
It's my favorite kind of fish.
I think it's gonna work.
So
So
here,
you're saying
Magnets
and I
also.
just want to point this
Also
out.
magnets.
So you want it to work in the Hot Wheel style, which by the way generally ends with like the car like sideways, flipped over.
No, dude. Maybe if you don't know how to do your Hot Wheels right.
no,
I'm
you-
just saying. I'm
the
just
only
saying
way to do it
when
right
when
is to
you're when
crash
you're
them.
when
Hey,
you're
hey,
talking wide mouth lander,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like I'm gonna drive. I don't know.
Hey,
like
step
if,
one,
if any
step
part of this
one,
journey
pick up
involves
that
a
friggin-
wide mouth lander.
Pick up that Ferrari, spin each wheel. They need to have the same,
Yeah.
You can't use a bum Hot Wheel on a sweet track
You
with a
can't.
wide mouth lander.
By the way,
No.
I will tell you this, and I'm going to say this, and I know that I'm going to make some people very angry.
Go for it.
Hot Wheels are jank. Matchbox is where it's at.
You
The
are
end.
such
Oh.
a
End
you are
of
such a
story.
buster.
End-
Wait,
end
are
of
you
story.
from Chicago or something?
I'm just saying,
That's
man.
like saying like
Wow.
deep dish pizza is better.
Are you kidding me?
pretty good.
Okay, A, deep dish cheese is better.
It is.
So I don't know what the hell you're
I'm
talking
sorry,
about.
it is
B,
actually.
Hot Wheels are made like crap, and Matchbox is like the real shit.
I was just
You were so
I was
bullshit,
just
no.
I was just in the Chicago airport and there was this sign at a
Driving Hot Wheels everywhere.
very fast. All sorts of wide mouth landers. Thank
Yes!
you. Thank you. That is exactly what this Hyperloop's going to look
there's
like.
also
See,
the-
there's even a loop.
Wait. There's a Hot Wheels ad that was a loop to loop on a highway. If anyone in the booth can find it, just look up Hot
There-
Wheels Highway.
there was a sign-
That is
yeah, yeah.
the Hyperloop.
In the Chicago airport at a restaurant I was at that said it's like bad manners to put ketchup on your hot dog. And the
Awful.
Chicago
Nobody
city
nobody
limits.
should-
And it's
nobody
like,
in Chicago does
that's
that.
the sort of bad thought processes and life decisions that people from Chicago make.
Don't you think Christian moved
also
to New
like
York?
using
Chris
Matchbox
Sigler,
cars
don't you think
instead
it's
of Hot
time
Wheels.
that you move to New York? Just putting it out there on the Vergecast.
There are
And
plenty
if
of
you'd
deep
like
dish
Chris Sigler
pizzas.
to move to New York, now would be an excellent time to tweet at Z Power and ask him when he's moving to New York.
I'm gonna do it.
Do it right
I'm
now.
gonna pause to allow our listeners to do such a thing.
Don't worry, we'll wait.
By the way, ketchup on a hot dog, sacrilege. Oh, there's-
whoa, are you kidding me?
It's a Chicago thing. And Matchbox just clearly better than Hot Wheels. I don't understand what
Can
world.
can you put ketchup on your Matchbooks cars?
Matchbooks? Yes.
Matchbox?
Please put ketchup on all of the matchbooks in your home to
So-
prevent fires.
It's a safety precaution.
God, everything is so sticky.
You've heard of the Great Chicago Fire, right? Ever since then,
We're using our ketchup only to prevent fires.
that's why they don't have any left for a hot dog. That's why it's bad.
In a 2000. Oh, poor Chris. Poor Chris. Hate to interrupt this.
So they just cut the price of the Surface, right?
They did, yes.
By it's like $300 now.
It's less than that even. While the company posted strong results, guess what? Results show a $900 million loss due to the Surface RT quote inventory adjustments, which means no one is buying the damn thing.
Yeah. Well, and they cut the.
They cut the price too, but this is like they cut the price recently. Like
That's
most
not
of
a
this is reflected.
That's not a projected loss. That's a loss.
That's
right?
a
Yeah.
loss.
That's a loss. That's not good. For them.
Sad.
So
Well,
I
I
mean,
mean,
sad
we
for
have talked at
Microsoft.
length about the Surface. I mean, just at length. I mean,
Yeah.
I think the RT is like a product without a customer, right? I think it's a really good idea.
Literally.
Well, I mean, this is like
You can quantify it now. It's
this is
about
like
$900
definitive
million
proof.
dollars.
And like I know the Microsoft people are going to tell me, and I tweeted this last week, but I now believe this is true, and I don't know why it is, and I want to find out. So like, when I piss off the Apple people, like they're mad and they're like angry, and like they have charts and graphs to show me how everything I say is wrong because Apple like does well every quarter, right? So like, shut up, you idiot! They're selling more iPhones than ever, and it's like, okay, that doesn't negate any criticism. Like that's not
Right.
how criticism works, but you're very loud and you have a graph, and the graph is
Right.
in your favor, so there's no arguing with you.
Right.
The Google people are just like super mean. Like they're like, I'm going to come to your house and knife you in the back because you don't love open source. And that's like when you irritate the Google people. When you irritate the Microsoft people, they're so sad that they're like, why don't you support our cause? Why? You don't understand anything about Microsoft. You don't understand our pain. You don't understand how Microsoft has changed. And it's like, why are you trying to convince me that I've betrayed you? Because that's how I feel. Like I'm sorry that the product is bad and that nobody wants to buy a Surface RT. I really am. But just saying it is not an act of betrayal. That is just a statement of fact. And now I have my own chart and graph, and I'd like to present it to you now. We don't actually have a chart, do we?
I mean, we can bring it up.
Hey, here, I got a chart and graph.
It's
Hey,
Yeah, it's a
come to
heart.
this chart and graph.
The shape
We can-
of
we
Surface
can show
RT
this
Don't
chart.
spoil
sales
it.
is a
there you
heart.
go.
There's my chart and graph for Microsofties.
beautiful. But in terms of like Microsoft's full quarter results,
I'm just saying, I'm sorry that I betrayed you with facts.
are you?
I'm sorry that the truth continually betrays you, Surface RT fanboys.
Hey, I'm gonna do boot camp on my MacBook Air.
Are you?
Aw.
You gonna run Windows 8?
I'm just really excited.
You gonna try
I
to
don't
swipe
know.
the screen?
I don't know about Windows 8.
Screen swiping?
Maybe we'll do some screen swiping.
Is
It's just
it-
for games, so I don't think I need to do Windows 8. In fact, I probably shouldn't do Windows 8.
Probably not.
No.
It's just gonna be
Okay, well,
Steam and
continue
big
talking
picture
about
mode.
Windows. I want to, because this leads right into Intel, and I think that's really fascinating too.
Right, so that's the big story. Let's get to some of the other numbers, Microsoft,
Yeah.
and move on to the RT in general. Microsoft earned $4.97 billion off of $19.9 billion in revenue for quarter four. It's actually better year over year. Of course, Entertainment Devices division, rest its soul, this whole thing's been redevised, but is obviously the biggest moneymaker for Microsoft. Always has, well, not always has been, but it's.
Oh, we do have charts.
We do have very pretty charts. If you go to Microsoft's quarterly, this is at TheVerge.com. It's a very nice website.
Put up the chart. Can I?
Evan
does that
Jordan?
command work?
Make it so.
Okay.
Nope, didn't work.
Okay, Evan. That doesn't. That's
No,
not a real
no,
command.
doesn't.
Go, Evan. Also not a real command. Oh, it worked.
There we go.
Yes!
Woo! This is by division. You see in the rights. Yeah. No,
Right.
sorry, my bad. Business, of course,
Yeah.
did the most. Entertainment Devices did the least, next to online, because
Entertainment devices
Online
did the
did
least.
the least.
no, online did the least.
Yeah, online always does the least.
But like Entertainment Devices,
Wait, wait, other did the least.
So online
Where's
is like
other?
all
Other
their
doesn't
online
exist.
services.
How do you read charts?
Entertainment devices is is obviously the Xbox. It used
Right.
to be the Xbox and the Zune. God rest its soul.
and the Kin.
And the
Let's not
Kin.
forget the Kin.
Entertainment devices was always a series of failures, and the Xbox.
Right.
And now it's just the Xbox, but obviously those sales are falling because there's about to be a new Xbox.
Right.
End of the cycle.
Well,
And then
the-
there's Windows and applications, right?
Does Xbox Live go into Entertainment Devices, or is that going to
I
something
think,
else?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure someone will
Well,
tweet
it
me
doesn't matter.
momentarily.
This is like this division's like changed now, right? This
Yeah.
is like, this is nice. This is cute, but it's a new Microsoft.
Right, there's a whole new Microsoft, and like they're now functionally organized. Right, they're gonna have an operating systems group and like an Xbox group, and like it's all or a hardware and services group or a hardware and devices group, which is all great. But like ultimately, the thing
How many reorgs have they had in the past 5 years?
this is the one.
This is the big one.
This
Oh,
is the one.
one.
The one
Microsoft.
Yeah. One Microsoft, and like
don't believe
they're,
it.
they're organized more like Apple now. But like what is like needs to be understood about the Surface thing and these revenues and the $900 million loss in the RT is that flat out their attempt to compete with the iPad has failed.
Yes.
Right. This first shot at
that's
coming
clear.
at the iPad has like utterly failed. Now
but
they
they're
have
doing a really good job competing with the Apple TV.
they're doing an amazing job of competing with the Apple TV. Which is true, right? The
Yeah.
Xbox is good. The Xbox One,
We'll see.
Dude, I was so, oh my gosh.
What?
Well, on the podcast, everybody's all like the Xbox. Yeah, on the podcast being you, me, and Josh.
you mean the person you're talking to?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I'm not on podcasts very often
No.
anymore. So I don't
Paul,
remember
so
when
have
it
I
was.
told you
but,
my
like,
theory that you're unstuck in time? Have I mentioned this to you?
That sounds about right.
Like you
That would
blip in and then like you're here and like you say awesome things and you like blip out, nobody knows where you are, and then you like blip back in.
That is true.
Sometimes you're in the future, sometimes you're in the past. Many times you're in a firefight in Dresden. That's literally the
Yeah, I know.
But after E3, man, I am way out unstuck in time. But this is way too late for this analysis, so we can move on. If
we should
you
move on.
want.
Okay.
Look, so this is like leads us right into Intel, right? Like
Right.
the Xbox One will probably do great. Like
Sure.
ultimately, it's going to do fine.
They're
it's an
both
Xbox.
gonna do great.
Christmas
It's
is coming.
Everybody's gonna be happy.
Everyone will be happy. Right?
Nobody will write any.
Christmas
mad
is coming, by the way, the
editorial
most
about anything.
ominous thing you can say in the most positive way.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, They'll be fine. But this iPad thing, the Surface RT thing, is a bad, like, they can't sell them. There's nobody who wants to buy a Windows computer that isn't Windows.
Right.
That isn't the whole deal. So Windows 8.1 is out. It brought some stuff back. I think that will be where they focus their efforts, because that should be where they focus their efforts. And on top of that, Intel announced earnings was yesterday, the day before, and their CEO is like, we're going to focus all of our efforts onto mobile now, which is like 5 years later. Intel's like, oh, things that move around.
Right.
That's the one.
That's a thing.
So they talked about Haswell a bunch, obviously, but their
We've been talking
bet
about that for so long.
but their bet now, I think, with Haswell in particular, is like convertible laptop-y tablet things.
Which I'm not into.
Which
But I
haven't seen one that's good.
I do want to say thank you, Intel, for this thing.
Is that
You
a
got,
new
you got a
one?
new one?
This is the new MacBook Air.
Is that a
The 11-inch.
11-inch.
Oh,
I
wow.
run so much StarCraft, so much Diablo. I can even run like some Windows games in Wine, and I'm gonna put friggin' Boot Camp on here. I can run.
Do you ever run like
Sort of like that mid-tier-
I don't know, maybe like a word processor, an email client that connects you with your co-work? Nope, just StarCraft.
StarCraft,
Let me look at
Diablo.
my doc. I've got notes and messages, reminders. Maybe I'll put a reminder real quick.
Maybe.
The live
Connect
stream conversation. I want to
some-
know how that book is coming.
Oh, I got a reminder to take out the
Oh,
garbage.
burn, dude.
I forgot.
You don't book burn and Unstuck in Time,
Wait,
bro.
did you make a book joke?
But then book burn. They asked. I
Yes,
just,
you had the book
I
I've
just
got a
asked questions.
website now.
You
I
have
made
a
a
website?
website.
You did?
I'm spending a lot.
Is it theverse.com?
Chris is being just rage trolled.
It's
So if you'd like to not
But
explain,
if you're listening to this in
audio,
audio, by the way, Chris has no idea why hundreds of people have asked him to move to New York, which is amazing. And I
This is
think
great.
we should all just go again.
yeah, one more time. Well, wait.
So he's tweeting his confusion, which is amazing. Paul,
what?
Yeah.
What
what do you think Microsoft should do?
I think
What do you
they
think?
should just give up.
Microsoft and Intel are like, they're obviously like in the weeds, right?
Well, I think. I guess we're probably going to talk about this in a bit, but like,
By the way, that comment was like a little, please don't email me about how Microsoft is in the weeds. I know that they're doing fine. I know that many of their businesses will succeed. I know that you're going to call me epithets regarding my gender, my sexuality, my personal hygiene. All of these things have been questioned by you.
All of them are
the
true.
jerks who view this program and read my writing. But let me tell you, man, iPad doing really well. Microsoft stuff, and like, just deal with it. Like, they've got to solve that problem. I don't know how they're going to solve that problem. Maybe you like their products, maybe you don't. I don't. I think they should solve that problem. How are they going to solve that problem?
I think they need to make a new kind of product.
So you guys like,
Hello, everybody. Good night.
Think about right now. Right now, Microsoft's biggest success. That I think the reason why the Xbox One could still probably do super well despite all this bad PR, while everybody real life retweets this, I get it.
Yeah.
Is Xbox Live,
yeah,
Right.
which was a new, super innovative, super incredible, really well done thing. Microsoft hasn't done the big new thing in a long time. They've been doing, they've been imitating and trying to play catch up.
Yeah.
And I don't think when you're up against people like, if you're Samsung and Apple, you're not gonna, you're not gonna imitate and play catch up faster than Samsung and Apple
Right.
can make what they're gonna make.
Right.
And I think Samsung is winning in phones because their new thing was we are going to make phones that are too large, and people will somehow like that.
Right.
And Apple is obviously pretty famous for its various new things, and Microsoft needs a new,
Right.
interesting thing. I think it's probably wearables. But I've talked about this a million times, but Microsoft has a research division that has some really interesting stuff that they don't utilize, and they need to go all in on it and really do something they need to invest heavily in something.
You don't think that's why they're so heavily focused on like the Xbox One? Like, I mean, because they really are, right? That's where like they're putting
I think-
so much emphasis on Xbox now.
I think there is enough technology in the Xbox One to do some really interesting things that people haven't been able to do before in their home, like be able to, even the fact that it's always listening, being able to
We should probably talk about that too.
Yeah.
say something and
So how do you feel about that?
happens.
As
I'm
a
fine
as a
with it.
strident anti-government activist.
there is a
I'm fine with
If,
that.
if any person on the
all
Verge
the-
staff is going to like leave the grid and become a survivalist, it's Paul
But it's
Miller.
not because I'm scared of the government. I'm scared of what's inside of me.
but with the new Connect,
There's too much rage.
with the new Connect, they
Like
can
the
see
whole-
exactly
I'm
what
Mark
is
Ruffalo.
inside you.
I just figured it out. I'm Mark Ruffalo. It's okay. I would never rage against another Miller.
Or,
Oh, thank
but I
you.
would rage against the machine.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
But yeah, it's like the Connect though. I mean, it does it's more powerful. It's always there in front of your living room. Let's say you're on the couch.
Oh,
Maybe a little
and,
naked.
all
the new Moto X, always listening to
Moto
you.
X, always in your pocket.
All these things need.
Yeah.
All they need is you go settings, preferences,
I think you can do
turn
that.
off, always on. Then you're fine.
But
as
that's
long
like-
as there's an option.
But
to
what I
turn it
want
off.
is like, don't share my shit with the government.
Right.
Like that's like turn off,
well, you give
and then
up
like
on
maybe like
that.
a secondary option that's like stay on but leave NSA no.
But hey,
Click
if you read
that.
the contract, they will trump
Right.
that if need to.
No, so we had the same problem. So somebody wrote me an email and Lauren Fisher, our general counsel, an email, and it was like, "Hey, I read your terms and conditions." Which was great. You should do that.
Yes.
Please go read our privacy policy. And there's a line in there that's like, "What do we do with your data?" And it's like we zealously protect your data. We take all the precautions. There's security.
right.
But if the government comes calling, like, sadly, one of the prices of being a business is that you have to comply with the law, and the law says you have to do stuff.
Right.
So it's like we'll protect your data up until we have to. Like when
We have to
we
not.
have to is like a
Right.
big deal, and that big deal is like not. And I get it. So like Microsoft has the same problem. Google has the same
So
problem.
you're saying even if Microsoft was totally goody about this, they are capturing data that you really don't want the government
right?
be able
And there's
to
like
request.
there's like a real possibility that one of the things I could do is be like, well, the Xbox
Well,
is sitting there in your
I'm
living
sorry,
room,
system-
connected to Microsoft server,
system
always
preferences
listening.
Turn off.
Right, but that's like
just turn it
but
off.
here's what I'm
if
saying.
you don't like it, but here's
No,
the
no,
thing.
no, no,
But
no,
if,
okay,
if the
unplug
big
it.
if the big benefit to having
Right.
it always, if there's like, it's like a cost benefit analysis, right?
Right.
It's like I don't want to be spied on, but if I turn this on and let them spy on me, or like turn it on, let Microsoft listen to everything that happens, or like Google listen to everything that happens, I get X, Y, and Z benefits, and those benefits are going to start to stack up. Right, like having a phone that's always listening to you would be really useful.
Right.
I think that's awesome.
Well, so but what's what's
Like,
the
that's
choice
the
for
future, right?
What's
I mean,
the
that's
choice
the-
for the
that's Star-
should the
Star Trek.
companies not create features that could theoretically be at
I think
the data
if
could
you're
be
gonna
asked for?
start, I think our government and society needs to catch up with the reality of like
so I
we're
think-
like I want to trust Google, which
Right,
whatever,
sure.
maybe I don't. I want to trust Microsoft, which whatever, maybe I don't. Same with Apple, Facebook, whatever.
Right.
What I don't want to do is take my trust of those companies
Mm-hmm.
and then have it imputed into some trust of the government.
Well, I think this is a policy issue, and I think if you have any,
But you shouldn't build the stuff that outraces the policy. Like I think that's the
whoa, whoa,
danger.
No,
Don't
no.
build-
Like,
Here's
you
the
should
thing.
build it,
Build,
but like
build
I don't
stuff.
that's the
think government can
huge danger.
impede
Build-
innovation.
Because you can't, like, when we ask the question, like, can the NSA use your Xbox One camera to watch you all the time? Like, nobody knows the answer.
Okay, so we
Right.
don't know, right? So
but
if
they
you-
definitely could.
If that bothers you, and I
the difference between will they and could they
Sure,
is
sure.
like
Yes.
really shaky.
if could they or will they, if either
Can we
of
get
those,
that quick clip of Ian Malcolm?
if either of those,
You know what I'm talking about? I want.
Yeah, Jurassic Park.
Yeah, that's what I want. Can we play that right now for the people?
if either of those really bother you, you should not. You should turn this thing off. Absolutely, and I.
But you
I
can't
almost-
ask,
I almost
like you
just a
can't
sec-
be like
just a
you
sec-
can't
just a sec.
present to the normals.
But stop talking.
Look
about,
at all these
talking about-
benefits.
stop talking about the world and normals and consumers. I, Paul Miller,
Survivalist.
survivalist, want my Xbox
Lumber-
and,
like-
and my phone to be listening to me so that I can ask them questions and talk to them.
Because I'm
and-
alone in the woods all the
do
time.
things.
Because as I pop in and out of time, I would just like to know
Here's the
where I
thing.
am.
I don't want to hold down the button on my iPhone
Right.
to activate Siri. I just want to pick up my phone and talk to it. I want to do those things, and those are cool, interesting features. And from that capability will come a lot of
No,
really
that's what I'm
incredible
saying.
innovations.
I agree with you.
So,
Like, I do.
Companies should not stop doing this. They should probably we need a way to
But
explain
the thing that they're doing
the government
right
could
now,
or maybe
where they're
could.
like, we can't talk about this. We'd love to talk about it. We can't talk about it. Like, if you're gonna build the camera that's always listening
need
to
to
you,
be clear.
You need to straight up be like,
I agree with
and
that.
then like we will fight the government when the
Right.
NSA comes
Right.
calling. They are not saying that. Like they're kind of sort of saying it. They're like, we're going to file a lawsuit, or like, you know, but they
We're
need
gonna,
to straight up.
unite in
When
demand
Google puts
for
out the phone and Google, like, these are companies that, I mean, it's kind of hilarious. Like Microsoft is like literally running like the Scroogled campaign about how Google's always watching you, and they're putting a camera in your home that's always listening to you, that's connected to the internet. Like Google has enough problems with like how much data they collect. They're about to put out a phone that's literally always listening and broadcasting information to Google. Like if they're gonna do that, they need to preemptively say, we're gonna fight to make sure this data stays with us. Now there is some point at which you want the bad, like, great. Bad guys have a Kinect. I would love for lawmakers to be able to flip on the camera and watch the bad guys at their home.
Right.
Bad guys have a cell phone. There should probably be some way for the cops to like monitor the bad guy. But all of that stuff has to happen in like very clear, very transparent, very like, this is what we did. There was a judge involved. The government had to argue like stuff, the stuff that
Right.
you're used to.
None
of that stuff is happening.
Clarity is
right
important, but I do not want them to stop the innovation.
Right. So I mean, also just as a more reading, if you want to check out this later, Sean Halster wrote this great piece about why we're arguing over this. Can the NSA use Microsoft Xbox One to spy on you? The evidence being, or the reason we talked about this in the first place was because we found out that the government was probably using Skype video, private Skype video sessions, or tapping into those. So if Microsoft is giving them that, or like if they've gotten into that somehow, could the same thing happen as Always On Connect?
Yeah.
So you should really check out the piece. It's a great piece.
You should.
Okay.
Okay.
Be
What's
informed.
next? I'm going to stop yelling. The next thing I'm going to be happy about.
Detroit has filed for bankruptcy. No,
Detroit?
we don't need to talk about this. But
Or Detroit.
But
How can you be mad about
Eli, why are you happy that Detroit is filed for
Damn
bankruptcy?
it. I'm mad about
You are
everything
so
today.
bad of a person.
Damn it, Detroit.
let's talk about one place where Microsoft could innovate. Paul, you mentioned this
This is what
earlier.
I'm talking about.
Microsoft allegedly testing a quote translucent aluminum smartwatch. Surface
That's
Watch.
impossible because aluminum is not
I
translucent.
did say quote. That means someone else said it, not me. Don't get mad at me. When I say quote,
All right.
I'm completely absolved of blame.
Maybe it's a translucent / aluminum
quote
smartwatch.
translucent / aluminum, just to be safe.
Yeah. Let's.
If we just say punctuation out loud, we're okay.
That's right.
Right.
That's the same thing. Like if you're talking to your Xbox One out loud,
Right.
and you insert some JavaScript inject code
Yeah.
to mess up the NSA servers, then you're safe for whatever you want to say after that.
Yes. Xbox. Sudo. Let me watch Netflix alone.
Yeah. Exactly.
Pseudo make me a sandwich. All right, it was there.
So there are two wearable stories. One is the Surface Watch. The other one came out today. Was Apple's secret iWatch team. There were some rumors about who was being staffed on it. Obviously, small device and fitness experts. This seems kind of obvious to me.
yeah,
Like,
they're all going to make a watch.
This
It's
has
gonna be
been
great.
so obvious to me for a long time.
The watch will always be watching you.
I'm really excited.
who will watch the Watchmen? Thank you, everyone. Good night. I'm so sorry. I'm fired.
You really. I mean, you should really go.
I really should.
No, look, they're all going to make a watch.
Yeah.
Apple, Google, Microsoft, right? And like,
That's great.
I think these rumors are right now. This is the thing they can make. I think they're all trying to do TV stuff. I've said this like 100 times.
Yeah.
They're all trying to do TV stuff. They can't because there are TV companies. TV companies suck.
Right.
But there are no TV companies in the watch business.
But it's
and they
also
can just
like
make
it's also
watches.
like consumers like they don't buy TVs that often, but they'll buy watches. And at least the idea is like you can probably get someone to buy a couple $100 watch very
Yeah.
often.
I think this is a similar moment to like coming out with the iPod. I mean, I think you're in
the
similar
iPod.
I think you're in the same sort of moment where there are a few
The iPod.
a few horrible MP3 players out there, and
Okay.
they're really janky, and they've got these weird menus that you have to use like D-pads on, and it's real pain. And then you can come out with something that's an actually really elegant solution and really beautiful and really easy to use in a ton of people. Maybe not at the scale of the iPod. Because
Right.
you have a lot of these
I don't
capabilities
think
already
so.
in your phone.
But here's the
But
difference.
I think there is going to be so much of
Here's
this.
the major difference. When the iPod came out, the competitors were like the Rio,
Creative.
the Nomad.
No, but-
like they were junk.
Yeah, but okay, not
Like-
that. Like
Here's,
this is a great product. I'm so proud of them.
This is the Pebble. I can play Tetris
No,
on this.
Pebble's great.
Good
That's
job.
what I mean.
But this is a Rio equivalent to what a smartwatch could
there have
be.
been Rio equivalents. This is actually quite
it could
good.
be so much better.
It could be
Look
better.
how-
Oh, you do have
what
Tetris.
it's missing. What the Pebble
Oh,
is missing
sweet.
is like software support, right?
Right.
When iOS 7 comes out, the Pebble's going to get way better. Like straight up, like they built a lot of the stuff in iOS 7. When the next version of Pebble app for Android comes out, or Google builds in the right support in Android.
And no offense, I think this is great, but this is going to look like the Creative Rio compared to the next generation of smartwatches.
So here's what I've heard about the Apple one: is that right now it has battery life problems because they're trying to like make it run a full operating system with like a full color screen, which is why the Pebble has an e-ink screen. Now, I'm not saying Apple can't solve those problems. They certainly did not with the iPhone 5, but they've made other products with good battery life. But like that's like the trade-off. Like you can only build a battery so big in a device that small.
Right.
I don't disagree that all of the products from the big manufacturers will like be nicer, be built better.
This is what I'm saying.
They're good at that stuff.
This is what I'm
but
saying
the Pebble is
about
quite
like,
good.
a new innovative thing. Like as great as Kickstarter has gotten, when you have a company that can put billions of dollars behind R&D on something, you can get pretty awesome stuff.
It's true.
I mean, like that's the famous iPod Nano story of getting that, sourcing that really small hard drive to all of a sudden, or iPod Mini, which one was it? I think maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm using old think for how companies are able to innovate, and maybe Kickstarter is the answer. But I really believe that these three companies have a chance to make something really amazing that's going to be pretty. Or four companies really, Samsung included.
No, look, I think this is like I agree with you. This is like that there. I mean, it's like the iPod in that there are products that exist. None of them are good enough for the mainstream, but the products that existed in the iPod moment were like universally garbage.
Right.
They were
Right.
garbage.
They were garbage.
No,
like I had a lot of them. Like the Nomad?
Rio,
the Nomad was literally like they took a
That was-
Discman shell,
that
they put a
was
hard
pretty
drive in
bad.
it, and like super glued it shut.
Dude, the
And they're
Creative
like,
Rio.
That's
I
what it
wanted
looks
that
like.
so bad.
Dude, I enjoyed
I had a Rio.
Hey.
The Rio had I could buy a 64 megabyte backpack that was it literally slid off. It only cost like $400. Oh, there we go. That's
Yeah.
the screen. That's Apple's slide from the screen.
And I could like
That I mean that's a slide of garbage.
my 128
One on the
kilobit
top
per
right.
second Pearl Jam MP3s I got from LimeWire. They sounded so good on there.
Oh God, I had a lot of really bad MP3s.
Yeah.
There's a reason I went to law school. And
You
it's
know what
because I wanted Napster to
I
continue
still want to
existing.
listen to all my music via mini disc.
I love mini disc
If
players.
we
Dude.
could live in an
My
alternate
love of
reality,
mini disc
like
players is
that's
well-
like a
well
cyberpunk
established.
alternate reality where everything happens on mini discs.
There's an episode of Sequest DSV. Do you remember this? Where you like put the it was awesome.
No.
Find it. Internet.
Just
what's
find
next?
a GIF of
What's
it.
next on the list?
We got a couple options. You can either do, and I'll leave it up to you.
Choose your own adventure.
The One Mini, the My Ford lawsuit, or Netflix and the Emmys.
Well, let's talk about it. Netflix is simple.
Yeah, it's very easy.
Netflix was nominated for a bunch of Emmys for House of Cards and Arrested Development.
Right, it was
Good
four-
House
job,
of
guys.
Cards is super notable because it's obviously it's a Netflix show.
Right.
But
it's-
3,
No. They got 9.
9 for House
So
of
it's
Cards.
14 in all. 9 nominations for House of Cards, including the big ones, which is Best Drama,
Oh,
which is
so-
Best
so I got-
Actor, Best Actress. Like these are the ones like
Yeah.
every drama like goes for. This is the first time an online only show has been nominated, and they got 3 of them: Hemlock Grove, Arrested Development, and House of Cards
Right.
into the nominations. Big deal for Netflix. Big deal for Netflix. Not the biggest channel, of course. Fox has 19. Everyone else has like 40, 100, whatever.
40, 100.
I think HBO has like 107 nominations,
40,
something like crap like
100?
that.
Yeah, 40.
40
No,
or
like,
100.
if you look at like the other companies, like the AMC's, the
Yeah,
HBO's,
yeah,
like they
that
have
makes sense.
dozens, if not hundreds, of nominations, and then like
Do you think Kevin Spacey will win Best Actor?
I don't know.
Who's he up against?
He's up against who is it? I think John Hamm, Bryan
Ooh,
Cranston.
That's rough. Ooh, rough.
Well, I don't actually. If you want to like one nerd out for a second, I think Bryan Cranston not this year because the
been
next
so
season.
long,
Well, no,
yeah.
because the next season is gonna be the finale.
Yeah, makes sense.
So that'll be the next Emmys. I don't know though. I mean, it'd be tough. It was good though. I liked House of Cards. Did you like it?
I did. I thought it got a little silly. I still don't understand the episode where they went back to school. You know, where they said there was a musical episode where they literally went back to school and they talked about
Right.
math. No, when they were in this college, like I don't understand that. That was like a weird. It felt like they had a lot of really good ideas, and then they were a little because they didn't have to present every episode as like a
Right.
thing because they knew that it was rewatchable. I felt this way about Arrested Development too. Just kind of like Arrested Development works better, way better the second time around.
Actually, Aaron Sorkin. This is not like this
Yeah.
is related to Netflix problem. Aaron Sorkin was talking about this with Newsroom. Like he finished season 1 before the first episode aired, and it was like, well, this kind of sucks in like some places,
Yeah.
but I can't fix it now.
Right.
And Netflix, that's always going to be the problem because they release everything at once. Everything has to be done before anyone
Right.
looks at it. And with most TV, they
You
can
write it
readjust.
linear. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, okay, I think it's great. I think both shows are great. Like Arrested Development, I watched it through the first time, and I was like, and then I watch it the second time. I'm like, oh, I get it. There's like 1,000 jokes here for me to see.
Right.
That I understand now.
Arrested Development was only good on the second watch.
But like, you can't make people commit to 60
I don't have
hours
time
of
to watch
programming.
it the first time through.
Right.
I mean, I have the time.
House
but
of Cards
I-
is great.
I
like,
choose to
you
waste
watch House
my
of
time
Cards,
on
like
other
it's great, and the
things.
rewatches are even better because you see all the pieces. Like,
I feel like there's
Cool.
too much TV right now.
yeah,
I feel like the movie
There's
box
too much
office-
good stuff.
The movie box office is pretty easy. To
Can I
figure
talk
out.
about Pacific Rim?
You should hit
Oh,
see
God,
like one or
please.
two. There's like one or two movies you could maybe want to see
Yeah.
a week. Like one movie you have to see a month.
Right.
I really want to talk about Pacific
There's
Rim.
too much TV.
No.
Because you just said box office made me think
Go.
of the fact that I
Go.
paid
So
$22.
you did see it. You saw it.
And IMAX 3D. My ticket
Really?
cost $20.
Oh, I am
$22.
so jealous.
Is this a chilling vision of a near future?
If that future is movies that make no sense that we all believe are good, then yes.
Dude,
Um,
it was awesome.
It was awesome.
For no reason
Okay,
at all.
First of all, it was awesome in the
Yes.
sense that it was a movie about robots punching dinosaurs.
yes.
And literally, it's at one point they they retcon dinosaurs into the movie. They're like, these monsters, they were the dinosaurs, and you're like, I don't believe you.
No.
Like that. Also, spoilers. Thank you.
That is far from
Okay,
a
so to
spoiler.
be clear-
By the way, I spoiled
Don't-
Pacific Rim by saying it was robots punching dinosaurs, which is all that happens
I
in the
haven't even
movie.
seen the trailer. I've been trying to keep myself
all right,
pure
but
for
I'm
this
going to
movie.
warn you without spoiler. The first 10 minutes tells the entire story and then goes, okay, you know the story
Is
now.
Shia
Did you
LaBeouf
read
in
the
it?
review? There's a review in the New York
If Shia
Times.
LaBeouf was in it, it would be so
There's a
review on
movie
the
that,
Verge.com,
well, there was
too.
that review, and it was a good review.
clear.
But there was a review in the New York Times. I don't remember where it was. But there was like that first part of the movie would have been an awesome movie, where like monsters attack the world, and you have to figure out how to stop them,
Right.
and the solution is giant robots. And like in Pacific Rim, they're like, and that's over now. Here are the credits. It's 50 years later, and the robots didn't work. And it's like, oh, that sucks. What about the cool movie
Hold
where
on,
you guys
hold on,
figured
hold
out how
on.
to build the robots?
I think if they made that movie, it would have been terrible. You know
Why?
why? Okay,
don't know
what
what
point
you
they
guys
sit
are
around
talking about.
2/3 through that movie, and they're like, you know what we need? We need humanoid android robots
Yeah,
that
you
are the
get-
size of
you get the-
dinosaurs.
like,
so we
there's
can
like the
punch
inventor in
them
the basement.
like we punch a lizard.
Yes, you need the inventor in the basement who's like, I have the plan.
The solution was there all along.
And it was like, and he's like
It's
German,
man.
which is why they call it the
Giant
Jaeger.
man. Yes.
Yeah, right. And he's like, if you want to kill a monster, you have to build
Be
a
a
monster.
monster.
I mean, that would have been an awesome first movie, and this movie could have been like the fifth movie. I'm right.
Okay, you're
first
like,
of all,
it's like you trying to add.
Second of
no,
all-
no, you're trying to add story to Fast and Furious. This is what you're trying to do.
I always
just
that's
let
what
it
I try.
go.
Okay, so
just
then,
let it go.
here's my
enjoy
second
it.
quibble with Pacific Rim, and I just want to point this out. If you think about Pacific Rim for even 30 seconds,
Okay.
you're like, wait a minute. There's a hole in the ocean that spits out monsters.
Wait,
Why? Because that's the truth. Like that's
Yeah.
there's a hole in the ocean that
You're
spits out
spoiling so
monsters.
many things.
That's not a spoiler. That's in the trailer.
Stop it.
Okay,
Stop
so
Here's the thing
The
about
people
this
of
movie,
Earth,
Neil.
here's what they've
You can't-
decided to do.
You can't quibble. with
here's
a
how
big-
they've decided to
You know how
handle
you
the
have-
hole in the ocean.
If there's
They're
big
like,
monsters, you need
we'll
big
get
robots.
really
If
far
you have
away
big,
from it.
Big robots, you need big.
Let me just ask you a
quibbles.
question.
can't just
If,
quibble.
if your solution to solving the hole that spits out
big
monsters
issues.
is to build a wall,
Yeah.
where should you build that wall?
Your issue
Should you
with
build
this
the wall
movie needs to
close
be-
to the monster hole or far away from the monster hole?
Your issue
I would
with this
argue
movie-
that you should build it as close to the monster hole as possible,
even-
so that if the monsters get through the wall, then you have some like notice.
Yeah.
Maybe you have another wall.
Or
Your-
maybe
your
have
issue-
it
They're like, we'll just build it
over
right off the coast
hole.
of Hong Kong.
Your
That way, if the
complaints can
monsters
only
get through,
like,
it'll be fine.
Someone ripped off half of the screen at my movie theater. That's the only sort of complaints you can level at a robot movie. You know, robots versus large.
Yes, but-
You need large problems.
Yeah,
like somebody
right.
punched me in the face when I sat down to watch this movie.
Yeah.
Or
No, I'm saying it's great. Everybody should go
Or
see
like
it.
the whole
I'm
movie
just
was in
suggesting
sepia-
to you
sepia
that-
tone.
that
Who
Guillermo,
punched you?
Guillermo del Toro did not, when he was mapping out the plot of this movie, and he was like, part of it will be we'll decommission the robots to build a wall. He should have thought to himself, what would people do if there's a hole with monsters? Where should be the wall? Close to the
right.
monster hole,
Hold on.
or far away from the monster hole? I would argue that 9 out of 10 dentists would agree that you should build a wall close to the monster hole.
Okay,
so if it fails, you're still like you're at like square one. Not like the wall failed and now Sydney is gone.
Can we just start?
Just
over-
throwing
hold
that
on,
out
hold on.
there.
Dude, stop spoiling this
Let's
movie
hold on.
for
First
me.
and foremost,
It's not a spoiler.
To
You
both
told me
of
that
you,
the wall
hold on.
failed.
I'm
Hold
telling
on.
you that's not a spoiler.
If you are going to Pacific Rim for the plot, you are doing it wrong.
And I'm telling you
don't
that's
wanna-
that's definitely not a spoiler.
Yeah.
100% not a spoiler. Just not a spoiler, dude. Don't worry about it. Just
not going for the
Here's
story.
a Pacific Rim spoiler.
I don't know if I can ever see
At
any
the
movie
end,
again.
the robots win.
Or do they?
What else?
Out of here.
You should go see it. You should see it in 3D.
I'm gonna go see it
You
right
should pay
now.
all
Yeah.
the money.
Before you can spoil any more of this movie for me.
In the beginning. Okay, so let's talk about then something very
we
small.
have more topics.
The HTC One Mini.
Really cool. I wanted to do like a walk off the set thing. It's gonna be really cool because that was gonna be our last topic. But well, we have to talk about technology.
All right,
Alright,
there's one more thing.
Let's,
We-
let's,
we
yeah,
can
this is the last thing is today. It's very small. It's the HTC One Mini. It's the
do.
4.3
It is
inch.
literally very small.
It's very small. We're going the complete opposite
Really?
direction. What?
Hey, look, it's a tiny
It's a,
phone.
okay, so this
Vlad is very happy.
this would not have been small years ago. It's a 4.3 inch device, but
Would not have
now
been small.
it's mini.
It's mini. It's kind of funny that
But-
the iPhone has like a 4-inch display, and HTC is like, look at our mini phone.
But it has a
Has what?
is it a slow-
720p.
Yep.
Dude, they made an iPhone.
It's a slower processor though than
Yeah,
the
yeah.
H. Yeah.
Dual core.
Right.
They
But-
made-
So
it's an
why do
iPhone.
they say no compromises
Because-
if
I
there's
know.
a compromise?
Dude, so can we play this video? Can we play the hands-on video? The hands-on video
Because
is
let me
amazing.
tell you
With
what
audio.
compromise
With
is.
audio, it's great.
With audio, because the guy is like, and that's the HTC One Mini. It has no compromises. And Vlad's like, except for the compromises you've listed.
Spoiler again.
silence.
Spoiler again.
Yeah, I want to see that really bad. Actually,
All right,
please.
please play the thing that I just spoiled.
Like, it's like hilarious. It's great. No, the guy like goes through all
And
the
then
thing.
a big robot
And
comes
Vlad's
out
like-
of a wall
Yeah.
and eats
no,
him.
no, no.
And wins.
That's the
Plot.
point. It's the mini robot.
Look, all I'm saying.
The Snapdragon
Can I
lizard
also point out
fights
that
it.
Pacific Rim just blatantly steals from Top Gun over and over again?
It is
Spoilers,
very
spoilers,
homoerotic
spoilers.
at times. Yes.
Well, there's that. There's also the like. I mean, it's literally it's like they understood that the Rio and Top Gun wasn't like as important to people,
right.
so they're like, we'll make that guy as important by connecting their brains.
You know, it's like
That's like what happens.
yeah. No, it's like if
Stop
Top Gun. No,
This movie
if
that I
Top
haven't
Gun and
seen yet.
Ultraman.
That's in the trailer. That's in the trailer.
I don't care.
You're back online. You see trailers all the time.
Look, all I'm saying to you,
No.
just look. Pacific Rim is Top Gun. Only
Stop
Goose and
trying to
Maverick's brains are
describe this
connected.
movie. The more,
Right?
The more
They're not just
angles-
brothers, they're
Do you know how
literally-
ray
their brains are
tracing
connected.
works? You trace the paths of light. So even if you're not spoiling everything because it's only one path of light, you're slowly creating a composite image of
I
the
get what you're saying.
entire movie.
It's like the movie's invisible, but I keep throwing paint at it so now you can see it.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. Look, here's my final thing. It's like Top Gun, only Goose and Maverick's brains are connected. Just think about that. Just think about that as a movie.
It's Goose Shia LaBeouf. Please can it be Shia
All right,
LaBeouf?
this is over.
All
Yes,
right.
Goose. I guarantee you,
Thank
in the
you.
reboot of
my
Top
God.
Gun,
Goose
Shia
is-
LaBeouf will be Goose.
And
Actually, no. Just to spit with Ross is gone. We've destroyed Ross. I
Channing
guarantee
Tatum in
you,
it be
just to
it?
shovel dirt
okay.
on my youth some more. Shia LaBeouf will be
for
he'll
it.
be Maverick.
oh,
I guarantee. Just like the filmmakers will be like that. Neil
Channing
Apatow.
Tatum can be Goose.
No, Channing
Yeah,
Tatum's
he'd be
the lead.
Iceman.
Is Ryan Reynolds
yeah.
in it?
Ooh, Ryan Reynolds would be a good Iceman.
What about Thor? The guy that plays
Whoever-
Thor.
Oh, the
Thor
Hemsworth.
is.
No, both Hemsworths have to be in there.
No,
Chris and
that's
Liam.
too many.
There's another Hemsworth.
Too many Hemsworths?
No, that's too many hunky leading men.
That's Top Gun 1.
And then Shia LaBeouf. It's a lot of hunky leading men. Then Shia LaBeouf. All right, we're done. That was the Vergecast.
yeah, we can't go on after that.
I'm so sorry. In conclusion, AT&T and Verizon are screwing you.
Mm-hmm.
Shia LaBeouf not as hunky as Channing Tatum or Thor.
We don't have this clip about
I
compromises.
really can we see the
Can we see the HTC One Mini hands one? No.
No, we don't.
We should watch. It's amazing.
Go to the
It's in our video player right now on
Is
the front
that how
page.
it
Yep.
works?
It's exactly as Neil I spoiled it, described it.
It's not a spoiler.
No, that one I don't care about either. Anyway, it's
Hey,
good.
look,
So this,
that video of the hands-on is just like Top Gun, only Vlad and the guy from HTC, their brains are connected.
so it's Top Gun.
You can
That
tweet
was
at
the
us.
Vergecast.
You should tweet at Chris again to move to New York.
At Z Power.
Etsy Power. I'm Reckless.
I'm Ono Roscoe, no E.
Paul, unstuck in time.
Don't even bother.
Future Paul.
Future
But
Paul.
also past Paul and present Paul.
Don't forget, On the Verge is on break
All
this
the
week.
Pauls.
We have Top Shelf on Mondays. San Diego Comic-Con, we're there right now. We're having a good time. You'll see videos and coverage of that very soon.
Yeah.
And Vergecast at theverge.com if you want to yell at us.
Yeah, leave us a comment.
Mm-hmm.
You people. Goodbye. Rock and roll.